the order of the Finance Committee Appointment Committee.
Yeah.
Two committees and the same thing. All right. First order of business is to consider reappointment existing members who have reapplied.
You mean in a couple minutes?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Thanks. Traditionally, we do not feel the need to re-interview existing members who are performing admirably, shall we say.
Yes.
You don't know it. In the case here, we're going to reappoint, well, we'll vote to reappoint Bill Boudry, Dennis Hogan, Evan Kenny, Stephen Chase, and Edward Bean. I think this is Bean's first term, so he's the only one that has been on for years, right?
Yeah, he's been on like a year and a half.
He filled
the void.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you don't know if any of these guys have recently committed a felony or done something untoward.
Nothing that I've seen in my email.
All right, so we're going to nominate those five. Any questions, Mike?
No.
Okay.
We don't typically interview. We talk to them. We see if they're interested
Yeah.
in returning. They're interested in returning. It's appointed.
Yeah.
It's an appointed
They've all,
position.
they've all filed. I'm sorry, yes, your first time. They all filed applications, which is a
Yeah.
new thing. We've really upgraded the whole process
Yes.
here.
Sure. No,
From when I first
familiar
started-
with the names. And
When I first started, I was the only person, and I used to call up and say, "Hey, you want to be on this? Okay, you're on." But now we're on Zoom.
Yes.
Okay, so all in favor of Bill Boudry?
You want a motion in a second?
No, we just,
Okay.
it's an application, so they're not
Okay.
being nominated.
All
Bill
righty.
Boudry?
Aye.
Aye. Dennis Hogan?
Aye.
Aye.
Evan Kenny?
Aye.
Aye.
Stephen Chase?
Aye.
Ed Bean?
Aye.
All done. Okay, we had two candidates, John McDonald in the building committee, and he left me a message, email me yesterday and said his job has changed since he applied back in June when these meetings usually are conducted. No, they're never conducted until September
No.
anyway. No, right. Until I have to absolutely get my act together. And he just said his job's changed and he didn't know about the time commitment and
Mhm.
we'd see how it works. And then if something comes up in the future. So there we go. So we're down to one applicant, Christian Jensen, and we all have his resume and I'll go get him and we'll run us through the paces.
Excellent. Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Christian, you're up. Hey, thanks, Steve. Okay. Yeah, I will. Hey, how you doing? You can sit over there. Yeah. All
How you
right.
doing? I'm Jim Sullivan.
Mr. Jensen.
Doing?
I'm Mike McLean, Chair of the Town Council. Mr. Jensen.
Bill Carroll, town moderator.
And I'm the chairman of the finance. Committee.
Yeah. Yeah.
You also. Thanks for coming. Thanks for your interest.
Yeah. So, you're the sole candidate.
All right,
So you haven't committed any felonies, have you?
not that I know of.
Know anything untoward? Oh, I like this. All right. So it's a humor check. I've been doing this way too long. So charter commission years ago, put together the town moderator, chairman of the board of selectmen and, chairman of the FinCom to, interview and do an appointment. So for probably 25 years, I think it's longer actually. My opening question is right down the middle, softball. Why?
Why? Well, I'll give you a little history on growing up, I guess. So I grew up in Connecticut,
Where?
southeastern, outside of New London,
Okay, name a town.
East Lyme. So nobody ever hears of it. So that's why I always.
No.
The,
Slime, no, I got you.
yeah, right down 395, like the.
Right, yeah.
Where 395 ends and all the accidents
Right.
happen. That's-
After you go by Brooklyn.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
Brooklyn, all the names of the big cities and
Yeah.
other areas that are in the middle of nowhere, Connecticut. Yeah. So he did, but still does, commercial real estate. So he was a member of the town's Economic Development Commission
Ah,
he told me 7 years. It felt like longer.
yeah,
And he was the chair of it for a little bit, but I distinctly remember, him just giving back to the town, right? And service there and doing a good job of that. And I thought he enjoyed it. Saying, him now looking back on it, he's like, yeah, it was a chore, but I always appreciated that, and looked up to him, that he was, volunteering his time for the town to make it better. So that's always been, kind of in my ear, and had the interest of it. So when the finance committee opened up, that happens to be what, I do for a living and what I went to school for and all that good stuff. So it felt like a perfect fit to kind of join those two together.
that does. you know, it's corny as anything, but giving back to the community, it's like, I mean, you know, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't gonna do this nonsense, this moderator stuff, and, somebody said to me, you live here, and I thought, yeah, and it'd be nice to do. that.
Yeah, and that's certainly the other thing, you know, we lived in Wakefield now for 4 years.
Where do you live?
Right up the street, right up in
Okay, here we go.
Street.
Name the street.
Converse Street.
Okay, oh, Converse, you live on McGonigal Santos.
Yep,
Street.
we are, I know her husband because he walks by with their 2 dogs all the time.
Stay away from him. He's a dangerous character.
Well, he works for the FBI.
He doesn't have just
CIA or
dogs.
whatever,
He doesn't
whatever he
bring
did.
dogs just for them.
Yeah.
Nobody. Yeah, yeah.
He's a nice guy.
Oh,
Don't listen to
He's
what he
super
says.
nice.
Oh, wait, he's one of, you know, what are you kidding me? I mean,
You're tight.
yeah, we are very tight. Are you kidding?
Yeah, they're at the bottom of the hill. We are
Nice.
almost on the town line.
Yeah,
All my life, I've lived on a town line. It's
There
crazy.
you go.
In
Where,
East Lyme,
that
I
way?
lived on a town line.
No,
You're up the hill a bit then.
Yes.
the hill, you're almost over into Stoneham, right?
Yeah, we're like
yeah.
3 houses down from. the
Yeah,
town.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, we always go for a walk in the old, was it the school?
The Naz,
Yeah, where now it's the
The new development?
Yeah, the new development up there. And
can you do that? Because doesn't the sign say you can only walk one way?
It's technically Stoneham, so.
Is that
But
how
I
did
don't,
that, how did that come to be?
yeah, I don't understand what.
Okay.
I'm sure it's like an egress thing.
then when you had the old mansion up there, the haunted mansion.
Yeah, but I thought it was an old school.
No, there was a school.
Okay.
And then there was a
Big house.
Yeah,
was,
the big
Yeah,
house.
dilapidated.
but one of my high school jobs was actually civil engineering and land surveying, and they have the stones in the ground that say W for Wakefield and S for Stoneham in that development right there. So it's cool to like walk right across and all that. So
Is the line on the street near where that path is that we were just
Yeah.
talking about?
Yeah.
It's kind of the line.
you can see where it's paved and not paved.
Yeah.
I won't say which side. But
We try to conserve money here in Wakefield.
I was looking through the budgets and all that, and I saw that every department for the most part had surplus last year.
Yeah, so that would have been the year before the last annual report.
23, yeah.
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 Why don't you go next, Mike? Because Jim has a litany of questions that actually are pretty pertinent to what you're going to be doing, right? So, yeah, if you got some questions.
Yeah, I don't have a heck of a lot. I've looked at your resume. You've got, you know, I like the BS accounting because I'm a CPA attorney, and you know, the schools you've gone to and the work you're in seems to line right up
Yep.
with FinCom type of activities. And we are, you know, as you'll find out, and maybe I've already looked into, we're pretty stringent about going through every line item of every budget. So I think your background is perfect. That's about all I have. I was curious what town your father was in, but now we know, so.
Yeah,
You've
well,
already
we got to
taken
press
care of-
them on this. You
You've
go
already taken care of the
regions,
geography.
regions and streets
Yeah.
right near here.
And now I know that there's
Why
another
did you go,
person
did you
confused
go
by
to
the
San
one-way
Diego just
walking
to really have
sign.
some fun? Is that what?
San Diego's a great place.
Yeah, so I guess.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
On the, well, I hide it a little bit on my resume. So it's an MBA, but it was actually a sports business MBA. And it's one of the few in the country that are like,
Mhm.
it's an MBA, like my
Right.
degree says Masters of Business Administration. But it's a focus in sports business. So that's what I wanted to do.
Well,
Got
something
there and realized that sports are tough to make money in.
Okay.
Especially with like a financial background. A lot of the people that I talked to that were in positions that I would want to be in, they did corporate for 20 years and then got back into the sports field. So,
Oh, okay.
so it was kind of like one of those, you know, at least I'm getting my MBA out of it. And it was, you know, it was a 18-month program. It was rigorous, full-time.
After you graduated with your bachelor's?
Yep.
Immediately, like,
6 months after.
yeah.
Yeah,
shortly thereafter.
essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was, in my opinion, the right move.
Mhm.
You know, just kind of get it all out of the way. I will say, going back, it would have been interesting, having some real world experience. I worked in payroll for a little bit after college, but
Mhm.
but no, it was excellent to kind of get out there, get the degree, and then really get your feet in.
Mhm. Good.
What office were you in at Bright Horizons? You're in the headquarters?
Yeah.
So do you know Tony Fernandez?
I know the name. She's
She's the attorney.
yeah.
Yeah.
I worked with her a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's very bright. She
Yeah.
used to work for me
Really?
for years. Yeah. When I left the attorney general's office and she was there, and then we were in a firm that we had a firm, real hotshot firm in Post Office Square. She was very bright.
Yeah.
And I did straight litigation, and the firm was kind of, so she wanted a more steady income. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I worked with her for an at Bright Horizons. I did a little bit on the M&A side. So she was working on like the
Yeah.
crafting of the.
My son is it public? My son they were courting my son to be in-house counsel. And of course, at the time, he had a 3-year-old and a 4-month-old. So he thought, there's more salary here than appears on the actual salary. I can't say go for nothing. I mean, it's pricey, but it's worth it. I mean, it's amazing. Yeah.
I have a 2-year-old, and one of those, it was like, well, don't burn any bridges over there. But yeah, Bright Horizons is
they're in Charlestown, so that's a real.
Yeah. When they had just moved, well, the headquarters had moved, or they're in Newton now.
Yeah.
I worked in Arsenal Mall, basically.
Yeah.
For their headquarters.
He had a great idea. He had a great idea. He's all Berkeley music and stuff. So yeah, So okay, now for what you actually
the actual interview.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you might have looked at the finance committee. So it's a 15-member board.
Yep.
We get active, towards the end of November, and we steadily meet about twice a month through the May timeframe or April-May timeframe, and we're doing a number of things during that period. We break into subcommittees, and so the subcommittees will meet with the department heads. So every major budget within the community gets a subcommittee review, and then it comes before the select board.
Town council.
Sorry, town council. Goes before town council and then comes to us. And we review it again as a body.
Yep.
We'll ask questions of the department head, ask questions of the executive branch, meaning with Steve Mayo, who was there, representing with most of the boards, most of the department heads. And so that, sort of is like a life cycle, for every season, if you would. And then at the end of it, we sit down and we end up voting on those budgets somewhat all together at the end. We don't vote on it as they go. And so we listen through all the department heads, and we have a forecasting subcommittee, and we have a forecasting tool that we use, and we keep inputting all of this data as everybody comes in and tells us they need X and they need Y. And so it's, I wouldn't call it glamorous by any stretch of the imagination.
Sounds like what I'm doing right now.
Right. It's not a high-end tool. We have some very intelligent high-end people that work a relatively sophisticated spreadsheet that's used for our forecasting. I call it the finance committee forecasting. Steve Mayo from the executive branch, he does his own forecasting with the town accountant, and we don't butt heads, but we talk about numbers, and sort of that happens through the process. So, obviously you'd need to be committed to be there twice a month. And then the subcommittee meetings generally would happen at 8 o'clock in the morning or 5 o'clock at night. You might meet twice with a department head. Say you were on the finance subcommittee for the police department. You meet with the chief. The department heads work with Steve. The school board works with the school superintendent and his team. So the superintendent and the schools answer to the school department, to the school board. They come before us. They let town council know the budgets, and town council, has opinions and feeds into all of this. But ultimately, the school is one of the few budgets that gets approved by somebody other than town council. It gets approved by the school board. Okay, and that's just through the charter and then through the way things go.
And it's always messy.
So the school is always the biggest budget. It's 54% or 56%.
When I was looking, it was at school and then police.
Yeah,
Public safety, I guess.
A school, public safety. Yeah, public safety, or DPW a little less, but yeah. And so that's kind of the lay of the land. And so a lot of it is listening and understanding, and it's talking through sort of operational activities as you're looking at this line item, and particular focus on new hires or changes in practices that, are sort of costing the town. We try to, I think we try to look at it from a conservative perspective in the sense of, 2.5 plus new growth, doesn't mean it's all available, but that's what's in the bucket, year after year type of thing. So,
Right.
and, 2 overrides, starting to pay for a second override in the town. You weren't here for the first override, but it's in your taxes. Second override is starting to roll into the taxes. So town council, I know, and Steve Mayo, is quite keen on the spending and how we try to do that. So the finance committee is an advisory board, right? We're on a board, we give opinion. I get up, or the chairperson gets up at town meeting and gives an opinion about the particular budgets that we're talking about. We all vote on it, 15 of us. If it's 8-7, I give a favorable recommendation. If it's 11-4, I give a negative recommendation. I don't give my opinion at town meeting. But anyway, that's how the place works. That's how it all goes.
I try to get him to, but
Yeah, he tends to try to when it's convenient for him.
And sometimes it's a split decision.
Yeah, absolutely.
get a little something going.
Absolutely.
Come on.
So attendance is good. It's a hybrid meeting. I'm old school, or I think we get more done rolling our sleeves up and being in a room.
Agreed.
But that's, a number of people come on hybrid.
Yeah.
The documentation is now available through a website called Govenda. It was a role that I would have to do, is to get everything out to people the week before, and now it's sort of in Govenda. It's very convenient that it's all there. It's, you kind of got to download some stuff if you want to. We get a lot of spreadsheets for departments, pick a department. And so, I'll spend a Saturday afternoon or Saturday evening going in there and crunching some numbers and pull the spreadsheet down into Excel, and you pound the keys for a while and take a look at some things. Some things pop out across at you and other things don't, that kind of thing. So that's sort of the background, how it goes. Like I said, the group is a lot of people are on a long time, a number of people on, fairly short time. I've been on, I don't know, 10 years or 9 years or 11 years or something, but a little long, but other people are on a very long time. And, we're all looking to try to give back to the community, I think really is what we do as an advisory group. It gets, I don't know, opinionated, gets tense sometimes, but there are meetings. Sometimes we get some people that come, sometimes we don't. It's a public meeting.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's open to the public.
Yeah, absolutely. And really the couple of questions I have, when you think about that and think about being on a subcommittee, you might want to be on, this subcommittee, and, I put the teams together before we get going, and sort of, if you have a preference, you let me know. And I sometimes I can do it, sometimes I can't. People go on different subcommittees. And, somebody like yourself, you have an interest, let me know. Otherwise, you can put on committees and you start just learning about the departments, learning how the place goes. And we do report as a subcommittee when the department, say the fire department, is going before town council.
Mhm.
The subcommittee representative, or multiple, will go to the town council meeting and give their opinion about what they saw. And, more and more, we're looking to try to do a good deep dive. Our role is to do a good deep dive and try not to miss anything and be able to articulate that. The department heads usually talk through it pretty good. And so we don't try to repeat it all, but we have a couple of opinions. We'll pass it on. These guys hear about it. These guys do their homework regularly, and that's what makes it sort of go every cycle. Any questions on that?
Not off the top, I guess, like subcommittees are what, like 3 people?
Yeah, 2 to 3 people. A bigger the budget, we'll put 3 to 4. Like the school department has 3 or had 4, but yeah. And
Yeah, no, it all makes sense. It's funny because we're going through our planning process in my company right now, and we're kind of doing a little bit of that, going out to all the departments.
Yeah.
Getting feedback from those department heads, and then we'll roll it all up and that'll get presented. So it's similar.
Yep. And again, a lot of people on the board bring, different perspectives from obviously their life experiences, and it helps. And then you have people that, dig in with just the numbers. And it's a mixed bag between accountants and attorneys and banking people. It's an interesting group. Non-attorney, non-banking person.
Yeah, I'm neither of those.
But
Do your subcommittees, Jim, have, is it an open meeting situation?
it is, it's a posted meeting and
Are you familiar with open meeting law? That's something you want to get a little bit familiar with.
Yeah, I guess what the premise is, it gets sent out or notified to the public and anybody can,
Yeah, and there, if you have, right now I have a 40A subcommittee from the town council for the 40A MBTA communities. And there's a heightened scrutiny these days as well in town, as I think there should be, of our activities relative to open meeting. So, even when we chose a chair for that, we had no preliminary discussion because you can't talk to your neighbor about anything substantive, right? If you have three people. So it probably looked a little bit strange to people that we went on the TV and said, well, how about you, Ed? Maybe you want to be chairman? And we did all that in an open meeting setting instead of,
Yeah.
So become familiar with that because
Can
that's
you go
an
into
important
executive
aspect.
session?
For certain reasons.
Yeah,
Only for certain
you
reasons.
need a reason.
You need reasons. You can't just
Yeah.
call it.
We go into executive session where we discuss who we're gonna appoint.
Well, I know, around town, I know they go in
We
executive
don't have to
session
this time because there's.
to discuss,
Sensitive
ongoing
matters.
union contract
Union
negotiations.
contracts,
Yeah,
we
right, yeah,
negotiate
yeah.
through
Is an
Steve
example.
Mayo, the union
Yeah.
contracts. And those are always discussed in executive session
Yeah.
for a variety of reasons.
Yeah, so the chair is, at the beginning of each year, we try to remind, reacclimate, and then the chair of the subcommittee is expected to work with Steve Mayo's office to get it posted. This meeting tonight was posted. I had one finance committee call me up and say, what's this meeting again? Which one is that? Kind of thing. So, people read it
Yeah,
and it's good. And the town is got, folks that want to make sure we abide by the open meeting law.
Yeah.
yeah.
where are the only reason I'm asking where they get posted, because I get certain emails of notice of like meetings, but I think those are just the general town, larger town emails.
Yeah.
I assume they're just on the town of Wakefield website.
Yeah, so they could put it in the newspaper, they could put it on the website, and I don't know if there's a third place where it goes, but
Yeah, I mean, I do get notices by email of a lot of the
yeah, and that,
meetings that we have, and I get them in my government, my town email, but I get them in my personal email as well. So there's a number of ways to not miss something.
Yep.
But they're all posted, they're all on the websites. So whether you guys get particular emails on your subcommittees, I don't know, Jim.
I don't get notifications because I probably didn't sign up for it.
Yeah.
For the meetings. I mean,
Yeah.
we get the Govenda meetings, but those are our own meetings.
Correct. Yeah, you can sign up through the town website. I
Correct.
remember doing it a couple of years back to get pinged on things because I'm not on my town council email, although some people think I am. 24 hours a day, I'm 40 hours a week still working, so I'm not always there.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, that's a great point, particularly this committee. It's an appointed committee and we're all volunteers. And we try to do the best we can and try to balance life and work and everything else. So what are you doing right now? Financial planning?
Yeah, that
Quickly,
that part's a little vague because I just started there in March. So when I put this I think I applied in like June or July or whatever it was. So
Yep.
it was still a little vague in what I'm doing. No, so I'm manage the top line with my manager. He's a director of FP&A, so we manage top line revenue at Smart Bear. So that's
for the company.
For the company, yeah.
What is the business of Smart Bear? I'm just curious. I haven't.
It's a good question. I'm still figuring it out.
Okay.
No, it's software.
Okay.
They have a suite of products across API. They have an API hub, so all these different products that do API connections and testing and all that. Then they have a error tracking and bug monitoring software. And
Quality assurance.
yeah,
It sounds like most of it.
that's a smaller part of it. And then a lot of testing. And then I don't know if you know Atlassian / Jira. Jira is like the project management tool. And we have a couple plugins that go into that. So,
Mhm.
yeah, it's a relatively big business.
Was it located?
Over 200 million revenue, worldwide. So, kind of 24/7.
Mhm.
A whole array of customers, from government contracts to, really just one person shops that want something. So it's a lot of wrangling. We have a main portion of it is direct sales piece. So we have a sales force that goes out and, talks to companies and says, you could use this. We also have a D2C platform, I guess. So just, companies can go onto the website and purchase what they're interested in, and that just flows through. So, yeah, I manage the top line revenue. I do the e-com portion and the Atlassian portion, which is the Jira plugin stuff. So that's probably about 30% of the business and growing, as the direct side is decreasing. So, yeah, like I said, we're getting into our planning right now for 2025 and closing the quarter right now. So a lot going on.
Okay,
But it's been good.
Did you understand all that?
60%.
Yeah.
Yeah, the tech stuff is whatever. Yeah, like that's the beauty of finance, right? It doesn't matter.
I'm a Luddite. I was inducted into the Hall of Fame about 10 years ago. You Luddite.
Where's that based out of?
In my mind. Surprising how I use Luddite, and then like 3 emails later, somebody go, "Oh, I just got Luddite." Yeah. Yeah, I use Roget's thesaurus. That's about it. So I come up with clever words. Redlined. I've been doing this asset purchase agreement with this company to make really high-end windows around Somerville. I mean, my first case was the third trophy wife of the Capital One guy, and these brass toppings to it, and it was new brass. And so when she got it, she didn't like that. So she hired somebody to put something on it that then leaked into all our windows, and then she sued for the windows. 2 cases on Nantucket. So anyways, I'm doing this asset purchase agreement. So this guy in Buffalo's buying them. So I'm away. I went to Ocean City. I went to Rehoboth for this music festival last Thursday. And on Monday or Tuesday, I get this. The last time they tried to do a deal 5 years ago, all fell apart. All lawyers being aggressive. I said, I'll make the deal. I said, I do litigation, so I know where it all hits. This woman sent me back on a 15-page asset purchase agreement. She sent me back 1,000 red line things. 1,000. I didn't know you could count them. I don't even know how to do that. But I called the guy at her firm and I said, I have 2 questions. Was she at law review or something? What is all this? And secondly, I think I won the synonym contest. I said, designated assets have to be identified assets. No. It was just unbelievable. So I was so caustic. This deal's not going to work this way. I said, yeah, well, why don't you tell your client that? Okay. So I had some fun with that. She got Luddite on the 3rd time. That she was the one. Oh, I just got Luddite. Yeah, you just got Luddite. But hey,
Any other questions?
money was wired yesterday morning. Just want you to know. Thanks.
There you go.
All worked out.
No. Yeah, I mean, I guess obviously the one out there would be the next step / the process with everything here.
Yeah.
Make sure you go to the town clerk if you're supposed to. And
Yeah, I'll send you a letter.
Okay.
Appointment.
Sign
You have to
something.
go down to the town clerk and get sworn in. You can, like Thursday, it's open late Thursday. I have to work. So if you want to do that,
Yeah, so normally we'd have several candidates and we don't. So
Yeah.
when you leave, we'll vote on it and
Yeah.
Bill will be in touch and then
Yeah.
I'll jump in after that and
Yeah.
get you in touch. We have a tri-board meeting, which means town council and finance committee and school committee meet every fall, sort of kick off the finance and forecasting season, if you would.
Okay.
And
that's around end of the month, I think.
it is the end of
Yeah.
October, the last Monday in October.
Okay.
It's an evening meeting. And
That's Zoom, I think, as well,
Yeah.
instead of, sometimes we've been all together.
correct, I think
Yeah.
it's Zoom. Yeah, and then that's it. We encourage people to go to town meeting if you've never been and.
Have you been?
get this out.
I haven't.
Oh, it's a blast.
Oh.
Now you're gonna have to start going. It's a
Yeah.
blast.
And it's not a requirement.
Yeah.
It's not a requirement, but I do happen to sit up front and look around and see who's there.
Yeah, it takes counts. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know the one this year was a fun one.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know how many meetings. So we get it in 2, 3?
We did it in two.
Is it-
People were forecasting as many as 4 or 5, and we
Yeah.
did it,
Yeah, I was, yeah.
which was impressive, given the breadth of things.
Consent, the people being more comfortable with the consent.
It's helpful.
Is,
And just a side note, engineering degree and got a MBA 12 years later. So I did spend a little time in the real world for a while.
Good.
So I don't know, what value that has in anything, but you mentioned it. so
No,
there you go.
yeah, no, I think it's funny when I was in college and going through accounting, I liked accounting because I knew if I was right or wrong.
Yeah.
Right away, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I had one teacher who taught all his life. He was actually an Air Force pilot, and then he just went into teaching. And then I had another one who worked he probably had his own business or something like
Sure.
that. And I liked the one that just taught. But I'm appreciating now the one that taught the real world stuff
Yeah.
and how gray it is. It's not, it's not all black and white and,
Yeah.
and how everything works. So
Interesting observation about accountant and accounting. You know whether you're right or wrong.
yeah, yeah.
The
But the beauty of finance is what I do now is I always say you're wrong every single time. And it's like the weather, right?
Yeah.
You get wrong every single
you do the
time.
best you
You
can.
do the best you can, and that's all you can do. So,
There you go.
Until, Jim, the accounting goes into tax, then it's all gray,
Right?
then it's all gray.
Yeah,
But that's all
tax.
law, technically,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
which changes every couple of years.
All right. I'm good.
yeah, I'm all set.
All right.
Awesome. Nice to meet you
Nice
all.
to meet you. Be-
Pleasure.
Things are looking good for your candidacy.
Yes.
Me too.
Yeah, it's nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you, Bill. Thank you very much. Yeah.
See you at town meeting.
Greatest form of democracy.
It is. Purist. All in favor? There we go.
Okay, we'll close.
Okay.
Motion to close the public meeting.
Yeah.
So moved.